Hi, this is Rachita here.
And I'm Bharath.
So for at least for us, I think the entire concept of raising a child, we got to see it very upfront with our nephew, who was born around like 3 years ago. So we were at home when he was born, and we saw how difficult parenthood is. Where the pregnancy research mind of mine started was actually when she was going to give birth. There was a scenario where the doctor had suggested that we have to go for a C-section. And when there was a question if we can have a normal delivery, the doctor immediately cut us off and was quite rude about just the fact that we asked a question to her. And we didn't know if we asked the wrong question or if the situation was that bad. And I think that particular 2 minutes was something that I wanted to avoid when I am in a hospital in labor. I wanted to make sure, like, when a doctor tells something to me, I know that, the doctor is actually telling a fact or not just trying to scare me. And at that point, 3 years ago, that's all we knew. Like, you get pregnant, you go to the hospital, and you just listen to whatever the elders and the doctors say. I think that's where we were at, and post that has been very different, and that's when I had to just search on my own. So I think that's where I used Instagram. And then I found your profile. I found a lot of such profiles on Instagram where there was a lot of information on the internet once I started searching for it. Before, I didn't even know something on this was available. Then I think, yeah, so then I found out there are things called delayed cord clamping, and there's something called skin to skin and golden hour. I didn't know any of these prior. And I thought, when I found out about this, I thought it is a norm that everybody knows about it because these are recommendations. And when something is beneficial to you and your baby, I thought all hospitals and all doctors follow it by nature. It was post, like, me getting pregnant and then us doing our research and talking to hospitals and people, where we realize it's not really the norm, and it's just something I found out. And then I knew I wanted to work towards making that happen for me. Yeah.
I mean, so we've always been these kind of people who are more inclined or rather tuned to the natural way of things. So, for example, even when we fall ill, we wait for some time and try some home remedies and probably try some Ayurvedic remedies and then finally go to allopathy, right? So, we've been that kind of people. So, and any business which works, which is more into making money and they just want to work like a factory. So that's what we realized. That's what's happening.
When I started searching all of this, I I knew for a fact that I am probably decently equipped, but he's not. Okay. And like, even if I would send him reels and stuff, he's not the kind that would try to get information out of it or something. So I knew I had to join a class, and I knew it had to be a good one where he would actually like the class and like it would benefit the two of us. So at least that's where my approach was. And he was also making fun of me. He was like, do you need a class? You've already done over research and things on those lines. I think with respect to my yoga class and with respect to deciding on your class, my first thing was a vibe check, that I'm comfortable with the person I'm talking to. Also because, like, in general, the entire concept of this pregnancy and birth, I wanted to just make sure I'm comfortable expressing myself and asking questions, and that, whether the question is directly answered, like, this is what you have to do or these are your options, I wanted to be in a safe space. And that's what I felt with you. So when I decided, I just told Bharath, this is what I want to do, and you need to be available for these 4 weekends so that we can attend this class. And he was in for it, and I think that was one of the best decisions we've made, because I was not sure he'll even be in the room with me.
I just feel like I kind of get overwhelmed with what's there on the internet with respect to, be it Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So there's so much, and there's so much, you need to do so much work to understand if it's from an authentic source, and if it's the right thing, and who's behind it. Do they have any intention of selling something, or are they doing it to make things happen well in the society? So that way, just going about and doing the research is not my thing. So this really made sense, where you put in some concise, you put in some hours and you get information from an expert who's already done the research, and it's all obviously in a structured way and you can follow it. So that is what I kind of got, which I liked, and that's what actually happened in the class as well. So I was able to get the information I need in a nice way, right, and not get overwhelmed. So we've gone through the labor and we've seen how things have taken turns which were not really expected, and like just like how life happens. So that way, just being informed of what is probably the good space to be in, what is something that we need to worry about, or if we're worrying about, what do we do. And so these things kind of help me, and also understanding the different priorities with respect to the birth, the labor, pregnancy, postpartum, and work towards them.
Yeah, before the classes, from wondering if he'll be comfortable in being in the labor room, to actually, which is also one of the reasons I wanted to hire you as the doula, because I was like, now he's equipped, but I'm still not sure, because that's what he had told previously before we joined the classes. Like, I'm not sure you are fully invested into this. I'm not sure if I can support you well. But the way it panned out and the way he was able to support me through labor, the credit has to be the Lamaze classes we attended, because he was confident, he knew what he was doing. I was confident that what I was doing, and I knew that Bharath is equipped and we can handle this together. So just having that confidence in such an important moment for you is very important, I would say. So after the Lamaze class, we were actually decently confident that we can go ahead with our current care provider. We were going to a hospital where the doctor was very supportive, and we felt like if we request for something, it will happen. But during the class, or through the class, what we also realized is, in a hospital setting, the doctor is probably there with you for the birth. And during the class, what we learned is that the labor can be anywhere from a few hours to a couple of days as well. And so that entire time, we can't expect a doctor to be with you. That was one of the things, because I was very comfortable with my doctor, but I didn't know who else will be in the room with me. I didn't know the support staff, and I didn't know if I will have to put effort during my labor to equip them or explain to them what I want from my birth. And I didn't want to fight during labor, with people like, this is what I want. No, I don't want this. And I knew I will have to sacrifice a little bit. And I was like, if there is an option where I have a birth plan, I've discussed it with the team, I know who's going to be with me, I know they are going to respect my choices, it's okay to put that effort to do the travel and have a beautiful birth like we did. So I think that was the key, because I know a lot of people, maybe their doctors already push them for C-section and they don't get the comfortable vibe. For me, that was not the case at all. For me, I didn't want to put any effort during labor to educate somebody else on what I wanted for my labor. So we came from that. Even he was like, I can do this for you. I can be your voice, and I can be, the person who wants to make sure what you want is actually met. But do we want to put that extra effort during labor? So yeah, I think
I wanted to be there for her through the labor process, and I didn't want to probably have a notepad with the priorities on what needs to happen, and probably check, is the doctor around who we spoke to, are they going to listen to us, and probably get into a quarrel and argue, and the whole the mood and mindset gets spoiled. So we chose a place where their priorities are our priorities, so you don't really need to worry.
So I believe a lot in manifestation, okay? And I think I did this to myself, because I kept talking about how far the center is, and what if the labor is not according to how we want. And that's exactly what happened. We started with a contraction that was not timed according to the textbook rule that we've learned of. It was very fast, very back to back. And we had to travel 35 kilometers to the center in the middle of the night. Luckily, because we were able to avoid traffic because of that. Um yeah, so with respect to how it happened was I was telling Bharath, in early labor we will have a lot of time, so I want to like have a good nice shower because I don't know when I will be able to do that post birth. And I was just, all of these were just fantasy talks is what we realized during labor, because we had no time to think about anything else except for the fact that what is the most important thing to do right now. Luckily, that exact day we had packed a semi-packed our hospital bag is what I would say. So I was making sure I don't unnecessarily wake everybody up, because I was not sure if I was in labor yet. But once my water broke, I was like, we have to do this. Even then, I took some time to pause, reflect, and I go like, okay, we're actually going into labor, and then woke him up. Post that, I don't think we had time to, process anything else. Like I woke him up, we woke my mother up, and my contractions were just progressing very fast. And we zipped through Bangalore from one end of Bangalore to the other in an hour, less than an hour, I think.
Yeah, I mean, better context, I think 3:30 around that is when the water broke.
Yeah.
And we kind of started from here around 5.
Maybe, yeah.
And we reached the center by about 5:45. And
my baby was here at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I reached, like, I think the midwife also thought that maybe I'm still in early labor and I'm not able to handle the pain, because it's a possibility. It was only when I was checked that she was like, you know what, you're fully dilated. So we entered the center fully dilated, and I was just looking forward to getting into the water pool, because I heard from other mothers that, it was a good pain relief for them. So I really wanted that for me. And once I was in the pool, that's when I calmed down. I was like, okay, now we are finally here. I can concentrate on the birth and not about how to get to the center. And yeah, and then it was very beautiful. And once I was in the pool, I think I just wanted to concentrate and be there in the moment. And just at that point, I felt like I let go of the control and just wanted to experience it as well as I can. And the team, like I said, the midwife and then the doctor came in as well, and they were calm. So that anxiousness I had through the journey, which built up, obviously, they were able to calm me down. Just the energy of the room is what I remember very well. I felt like all of us were birthing that baby in that moment. And towards the end, I was able to feel her head. So I thought she would come in installments. I remember thinking that. I remember it's going to be longer. So brace yourself. The baby's going to come slowly. And then probably in the next 1 or 2 contractions, she came out in like one shot. So for 2 seconds, I couldn't believe the entire baby was out and this is done, because I thought it's not possible. When I felt her head, I felt like it's very difficult for this baby to come out. But yeah, I think that was beautiful for me. And when I saw her, I can't forget that moment. Like it was very beautiful.
While I was there, I think my only priority was to be there for her. And I mean, I kind of know, not, like completely, but a little bit of how she works and probably what what could calm her, and, like things that she's aligned with. So I was just trying to remind her of things that, we've got this and it's going to work out. And
he knew it's a girl before she was born. He kept saying, she's almost here. You're doing a good job. She's almost here.
Yeah. And whatever information I had, for example, when we reached, and the care provider, she checked her and she told she's fully dilated, and she said that I can see the head. So I latched on to those words, and I was just reminding her that, she's almost here. And when I could see the baby's head in the water. I was telling her I can see the head. She's gonna be a soon. So yeah, my main focus was to be there for her, and yeah, I think it happened beautifully to see the baby just like in a pop come out and then be in her arms, and then she cried after a few minutes, a few seconds rather. So that was really nice to see.
He
And
also helped in he did the cord cutting, and she didn't react at all. She was very calm and very peaceful. Yeah, it was beautiful. And like, that's the thing, whenever I'm talking about it to people now, they go about how, first of all, everybody's like, it was a natural birth. I mean, like, it was not a cesarean. That is the first shock. And the second one is that the fact that the story or the experience was beautiful. Because if even if some of the experiences people have are good, it's not like the entire package. They usually talk about something that did not go well during their labor. And just realizing how rare it is and how the effort we put to educate ourselves has panned out so beautifully is just like, even the fact, like, even like now sometimes where while taking care of her, if anything feels overwhelming, just looking back at how beautifully it happened, like, gives strength immediately. Yeah.
yeah, I think it has a major role to play for the postpartum as well. So already your hormones are kind of changing, and you have the baby which is probably waking up every 1 hour, and all that is happening, but just going through this process in a smooth way, I think just helped her a lot.
Yeah.
And me as well. So one more thing is the education that we got. I'd probably want to call out, and there were a few critical points for me at least. So one, when we decided to leave from home, right? So we knew that the contractions were too close, and we were going to have the baby soon. So we made a very quick decision, and we made a clear decision that we're going to start. So that helped for sure. And probably after the birth, or rather during the birth, I knew how it was going to progress or what's going to happen. I knew about the cord clamping. I knew I was prepared for the blood, right? So everything, I felt like I was more prepared. And even after the birth, once she had to, there was a procedure to stitch her up a little bit. So I was waiting for that moment to, I mean, I wanted the baby to be with her as a priority with respect to skin, but I was always, my radar was on. In case she can't at some point of time, I'll jump in and, do that, do the skin to skin with the baby.
Oh, it was beautiful. So the doctor was stitching me up, and he was doing skin to skin with the baby and singing to her. And the entire room was quiet, just listening to him sing. Like, even the doctor was commenting about the song he was singing. That I just remember the moment. It was beautiful.
Yeah. So, I mean, just because we were prepared, I was there and I wanted to do that. And doing skin to skin definitely was very beautiful.
We did that activity when you came over with respect to our priorities, right? We just happened to open that picture recently, and we did everything that we put on the table the other day. So that by itself felt like a huge privilege, because when we put it down, we wanted at least the top three things to happen. But all the decks we put down, we were able to check it off, and yeah, that was really nice to see. Just that moment, I think I remember very clearly that I was just in awe of my body, of what just happened 1 second ago, and the fact that my baby is in my hand. It was both the scary aspect right before it, because I was sure she's not going to be able to come out of me, and then this next second, I was just like, how beautiful is this? So like I said, I didn't know then, but through my postpartum, what I realized is the experience has been giving me strength whenever I have any doubts, and that's just making it very beautiful for me. Obviously, postpartum is not easy, and I've read about it, and I've told him, you have to be there for me during postpartum. I'm not sure how it is, and I have a great support system, and even with that, there are challenges, and I always try to remind myself of how beautiful the birth was, how beautiful the support system is. And that just like, rewires my brain whenever I'm like going at what is happening, what are we doing kind of thing. Yeah. That experience definitely gives strength. And the fact that it happened so beautifully, like, I don't want to imagine, but sometimes it happens, right? Where you're like, if the birth was not as smooth as it was and there were challenges, that is what I would keep thinking of. And that might drain me further rather than giving me the strength. So, see, there are different events in your life that can happen, but this birth is like, I don't think you can compare the intensity of it with anything else that happens in life for you. So just having a beautiful birth experience is very empowering. It's very, very empowering.